Well, hello, everybody. This is Bernie Stroum and Beatles Eternally with Mike and Jamie. We're going to be discussing the big, beautiful baseball bash on Diamonds and Dice today. Hello, everybody. Say hello.
Hello, Bernie.
Yep.
Go.
Thanks for having us, Bernie and
Hey,
Beatles.
hey, how's it going, Bernie and Beatles? Jamie,
Hey.
I'll tell you, it's nice to be back on the streaming again. It's been almost a month since we finished the bash up. So yeah, it's good to be back
Yeah,
on the
you
mic.
you can you're going to make a career out of talking about this. You're right. You've been talking about it on all the shows. You're going to be on a big show in October with Saber. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's nice of them to invite us. I have to admittedly I'm not I haven't seen any of the Saber videos. I got to start catching up and on how that what the format of that is, and I know Jamie's more familiar with them than I am, but it is an honor though.
Absolutely. So, Beatles, how was your
Bernie.
day? Everything going okay today?
Indeed. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Wow.
Now that we've got the niceties out of the way, Beatles, you want to ask Mike and Jamie the first question, or would you like me to ask it?
Bernie, you're much better prepared than I am all the time. I think you should. There's Crash and there's Philip Reynolds, by the way. Hey, Crash. Hey, Philip.
That's right. Hello, guys. Anyway, my first question on the about the big beautiful baseball bash is, and of course the theme of the show, what Mike and Jamie learned about the big beautiful baseball bash. The first question I have, because I'm doing a similar project, not quite as ambitious, just with the Red Sox. Did it ever get boring?
Jamie, you can go first on this one.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, the simple answer is no, it didn't. But that was probably the biggest surprise that, I think maybe partway through, we kind of realized that every time we finished a bracket, we couldn't wait to start the next one. There was never like, oh, let's just take a break and do something else for a little bit and we'll get back to it.
Yep.
I
Did
think this
fif- did 15 months seem like it flew by, or was it just something that happened?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, it was crazy. Like, we started this thing. I kind of started it pretty, on my own, mostly just trying to throw it together, and kind of started like the preliminary rounds on my own, and just did some things. I wasn't even sure how I was going to be doing it, but then I brought Jamie, and Jamie came in, and we were doing it on Discord every night. And yeah, the time just flew by. But like Jamie just said, it was one of the most surprising things was that I thought I didn't think I knew I was going to finish it, but I didn't think we were just going to go straight through pretty much. Where I don't think Jamie and I went more than 2 or 3 days ever without having to do something with the bash, because there was a lot of prep time that we needed to do for each bracket, but there was also post bracket time with stats and gathering all that stuff, and then actually playing it. So there was plenty of stuff to do, and that kept us going day after day on the Discord at nighttime. So yeah, it was fun. And
You,
of
you
course, yeah.
How many games did you play?
Well, Jamie, what was it, like
it was like,
5,800 or
yeah,
something?
something was, I know it wasn't quite 6,000, but it was maybe a couple hundred short. So about 5,800 sounds about right.
That's really impressive. Even if
I
it
mean,
was an
yeah,
inning, the
yeah.
first inning and the last inning, 5,800 games. I don't know too many people could have finished it. You think if you two didn't get together with this thing, it would have taken longer?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jamie, honestly, a lot of this, and I have to give Jamie credit here. It was like what kept a lot of it. What probably kept it fresh for me was Jamie's content that he created for this, using, he has a very creative mind anyway. But so putting AI in front of him is just, you're just asking for trouble, because the guy, that's just so much creativity just comes out of him, well, with AI, and it just aids that. So all the extra content he's created just really breathe life into the project time after time. So I think that's got to give Jamie most of the credit for keeping that fresh.
Well, I was gonna say I wouldn't have even started it, let alone finish it. So if it wasn't for Mike playing it, but when Mike first said he was gonna do it, I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. Like it sounded like so crazy that I didn't really think about it. And then all of a sudden, it was like one night, and then another night, and I kept, watching and watching. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely made a big difference having another person, because every
Did
night
you-
we're playing games and we can talk about it.
And honestly, like with Jamie and I, we just we're pretty much on the same page. We're like, with most of the stuff related to the hobby, we like most of the same stuff. But honest to God, the most fun part was just shooting the breeze. Kind of like I try to portray that on our broadcasts. But for all the time that Discord, we kind of just handled it the same way. We just kind of just talked, played the game, talked about the game, talked about the players, did a little player research if we weren't sure if this guy was this guy's brother or something, So it was so much fun. It was just an educational experience, and it was just a lot of fun just shooting the breeze with a friend of mine. You know what I mean? So while we were doing it, so.
Did you guys root for the same teams? Did you ever root for opposite teams during these games?
I didn't really root for anybody, right,
I
Jamie?
gotta say, I don't think either. The only time,
Oh, well.
yeah, I would say the only time I remember rooting for a team was near the end because the Red Sox hadn't got in. And I know, I know Mike would have been okay if the Red Sox didn't, but I also knew that he would also be happy if they did. So when the 42 Red Sox kept getting closer and closer, and then it's like, so in my head, I was kind of cheering every time they won. Which I'm not a Red Sox fan. I don't hate the Red Sox. So my main reason for rooting for them was so Mike would have a Red Sox team, and then after they win, the very next bracket, another Red Sox team wins.
Yeah, the two in a row. Yeah, so it was like rains and pours.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh no, that was fine. Yeah, that was fun.
For the one or two people who have not heard about your project yet, tell everybody who won the project. Maybe we should start there.
1949 Yankees, not the Red Sox.
That would have been a good team, that 49 Red Sox.
No, yeah, the 49 Yankees beat the 38 Yankees in the final. So two Yankee teams, which for a Red Sox fan as myself and for Bernie, no doubt, was probably a little odd, but it wasn't. You know what? After doing this tournament, I really didn't have any favorites. I just became a fan of every team, and honestly respected the Yankees franchise even more. Just because I was in awe of how many good teams they really had throughout history. So
it's really funny how many good teams they had.
It's crazy.
On Steve Tate's got a new project working, and the project is you pick a franchise, and then he picks the years. Anyway, make a long story short, in my investigation of the franchise, in the last 125 years, the Yankees have had 100 winning seasons.
Yeah,
that's almost unbelievable.
It's true. I think just if I can just throw a few stupid numbers at you from the bash, right? So before the brackets started, the 32-64 team brackets, I had to weed out 800 teams or so just to get it down to an even a workable number of teams for brackets, right? So I called those two preliminary rounds. There's preliminary round 1 and 2. Now those are all like the bottom teams, the bottom 800 or so teams from all of history, right? You know how many Yankee teams were in that?
Have no idea.
I think 4. I think four teams in history. I think 4. I have to go back and check now, but definitely single digits. I'm pretty sure it's low single digits. Because I went back and I looked and I was like, how many? I think the 25 Yankees might have been there. I was surprised about that because I think that was the year Babe Ruth got hurt or something.
Yeah,
that was the year the bellyache heard around the world.
Yeah, too many hot dogs or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was just like, wow. I was like, I wasn't expecting that team to be there. But anyway, so yeah, it was just crazy. The Yankees, I don't, again, I'm not used to giving them a lot of praise, but man, they definitely deserve that. Franchise just kicked some major butt like over in history.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm definitely not a Yankees fan, but during the bash, they kind of just become baseball history. So you don't really see them as the Yankees. You just see look at this great team from history or these great players.
Well, you played all those Yankee teams.
Mm-hmm.
49 Yankees won. Do you think they were the best Yankee franchise?
Like my opinion, or just based off of what we saw, like on the game?
Based on the game. Well, both.
Well, I mean, because I can't. I'm not an authority on anything earlier than probably the 70s or 80s for that matter. But I mean, from what I saw, I mean, yeah, I was surprised the 49. I mean, I would have the 27 Yankees absolutely. They actually like were dominant, just as dominant as you would have expected, but they just kind of fizzled out, you know. But I would have thought I would have put my money on the 27. And I know that's a cliche because everybody picks the 27 Yankees when you're picking an all-time great team. But I mean, they really did in their bracket that they played in, they dominated. I mean, so
Who beat them?
The was it the 22 Braves? I think it was.
yes, it was
Yeah.
the 2022 Braves. Yeah.
Yeah,
That, that must have been a surprise series.
Yeah, it turns out the 2020 that actually anything after 2018, I'm kind of pretty much new at as well. I mean, it might as well be 1918 or 2018, but anything after that, I kind of lost interest in baseball and current baseball. But so learning the 2022 Braves was kind of an interesting thing because they were just a really good team. I mean,
they were. If they didn't win 100 games, they were close to it. I think they were one of those teams that kind of in the expanded playoffs, didn't go as far, but they were easily a World Series caliber team for sure.
Well, Beatles, I think it's time for you to chime in with some questions.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a different sort of approach to it. So you guys know that I'm really into like what if projects and sandbox, and this was the ultimate sandbox. It was amazing, and that's why I love it so much. What takeaways do you guys have from like this huge sandbox experience? Because obviously you're dealing with teams, right? Actual teams, but now you're throwing it into something that's just incredible. What were your takeaways in terms of like creating something like this, and what did you guys learn about just these sort of sandbox projects coming out of this thing? Because nobody's ever done anything of this magnitude.
Yeah. I mean, creating it, to me, creating it was fun. Just trying to figure out like how do we set up the brackets? And I don't know, for some reason, for me, that's kind of interesting. Maybe that's crazy or something, but that kind of thing was fun. But also, absolutely, like, it wasn't like totally sandboxy. It was in the fact that you're mixing all different teams from different eras. But I'm not like doing drafts and putting these players on other teams and whatnot. So it's just basically taking teams and history and putting them into a tournament. And OOTP, as you know, Beatles is probably one of the only programs you can do that with, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And even then, it was kind of, and Jamie knows this, it was a lot of work. So, but honestly, that's about the best we could get. I mean, as far as I was concerned, you really can't do anything else. There's nothing else that gives you that many options and that the ability to add, mess around with the different teams and stuff. So that was like, that's kind of like what I enjoyed. I enjoyed that. I took away from that. And also the fact that OOTP is the ultimate sandbox baseball game. I mean,
yes, it is.
That proves it right there. And I was very impressed with the results. I'm not trying to get historically accurate results, but they just it pretty much all turned out to be historically accurate.
Yeah, that would be something I was surprised, not necessarily because it's out of the park, but I don't mind watching people do crosshair, but it was just something I just usually I guess you only have so much time, so I usually just do more like historical, seasonal replays and stuff. But once you kind of start playing it and you can put in your head the context of however you turn it into make it immersive for you, and then you don't get so wrapped up into, well, this is a dead ball team playing this like 1987 team, and you kind of are able to kind of separate that out. And I think Out of the Park did a really good job with the neutralizing the errors and stuff. So the team still felt like the teams, but at the same time they were on an even playing field as far as you didn't get some crazy match just because some team's error was handicapping them.
I think it would behoove Out of the Park developments, and I don't know how much or whether Matt Arnold or Will Bay or anybody there have like if they recognized what you guys did. But I mean, again, as you said, Mike and Jamie, I mean, it was not easy to put together, but it would seem to me, I don't know, if I was running Out of the Park baseball, I mean, have they spoken to you guys
No.
about? Yeah, because I mean, I think this is a great opportunity because if there's anything that's going to demonstrate their tagline, their slogan of the the Infinite Baseball Sandbox, because that's the thing. What I mean, you guys did this, and what's fascinating about this, not that I'm suggesting you do it, although Mike, you are a crazy man, is you could do this all over again, even if you just did your last 10 brackets and changed a couple little things out of the park because it's so extensive. It's just and this, I don't want to take focus away from you guys, certainly, but just to add, I guess, Mike, what you say, and this is no knock on other games like Digital Diamond or Action PC,
Right.
which or anything like that, but I truly don't see any other sort of baseball sim that could really do what this was done. And I think, again, none of us, right? Because Mike, you and I have been beta testers and stuff for that game. So, but we don't get anything like it's not like they pay us money or anything. No. But the thing that always drives me crazy in the community is, again, that sort of polarity that there is about the game. And so what you guys did, not only in showing what Out of the Park can do, but you guys have really, really raised the bar on creative baseball projects. And I mean, standing ovation for me, seriously. This is fantastic. Both.
I'm going to say what you said was another surprise I think both Mike and I had as well, is that there isn't as much crossing of the streams between because it was an Out of the Park project, and Mike, has been involved with the game for a while. So,
right.
He reached out to some people who were Out of the Park, contact guys, and I mean, they couldn't have been nicer and really enjoyed it, but their knowledge of what goes on, I guess you could call our side the traditional replay games. I don't know what, but had no clue, and just people, not that people didn't know of each other's games, but the sim communities were they might as well have been on opposite coast or something.
Yep, the Twitch and the YouTube communities.
Yeah, between the Twitch and the YouTube, and then between the way, because of Out of the Park versus say an Apostrat style game, it was just totally opposites.
So did you guys sort of very, very early on in the project, did you experience any? The best phrase I can think of is false starts. So you're getting into wait, we got to change this up, or did things kind of fall into place? I mean, I'm just kind of curious because at the genesis of this thing, because it's like looking at Mount Everest or K2. It's what you guys did, and to use a weird analogy. So any false starts?
No, I don't think so. That's another surprising thing is I think there was in the first bracket. I think I screwed up some kind of matchups or something in the playoffs. In OTP is the first one, right? Mm-hmm. And we had different seeds starting off against other, the seeds that they shouldn't have been playing against. But I just went with it. I was like, you know what? We'll just move on, and we'll have these teams play it out, and then we'll because it was just the first round that was kind of messed up. Sure. And so I was like, all right, I'll keep it that way, and then we're just gonna move on and we'll fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again in the next 31 brackets. You know what I mean?
Next 31 brackets, that cracks me up.
Yeah, I mean, we made some adjustments, but I don't remember anything major that ever had to be addressed.
Nice. Yeah, there was the only other thing, the major change we made was probably around bracket 8, I think. Is we started to notice that the lineups that OTP chose for, and Bernie probably knows this as well from his thing. The lineups that it chooses isn't exactly the best ones, or sometimes it's some head scratchers that are in the lineups.
Right.
And so Jamie and I decided, and which lengthened our project considerably, is we decided from that point on, every bracket we would go through every team, check it against Baseball Reference to see who played the most games and who should be in the starting lineups, or who should be on the roster, the active roster in the first place, right? Because
one of the things too was because the rosters being used were the end of the season rosters.
Yep.
So sometimes it would choose based on who was at the end. So maybe a guy that only played in September, but the computer doesn't know, so it was putting them in as a starter. So
what I've noticed is that the computer AI, the manager, puts the highest rated player in the position,
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's doing.
regardless if it was the starter that season or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it doesn't have anything else to go on, then it'll do. I mean, you can get inside the program and be more nuanced and stuff like that. But it was easier for us just to go
The
through.
one that confuses me in my project, which is similar to yours, only tinier. When Babe Ruth's dead ball teams, when he's playing the outfield, they bat him fourth. When he's pitching, they bat him ninth. I just don't get that.
Yeah.
That's a flaw in the program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that must be
you're right.
something wired in there where you must always want to put the pitcher in the ninth spot.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, well, unless you're a human managing the team, you could probably change it. But
Well,
I think,
yeah.
but yeah, the AI should be smart enough to say, hey, this is Babe Ruth. Look at his hitting ratings. He should be batting higher than ninth, right? But
And some of the lineup
yeah.
changes too are based too, because I think the default is more like a modern, like analytic style lineup, but it does have settings in it to where you can tell the manager to use a specific era.
Yeah,
I mean,
Out of the Park has settings for the settings.
Yes, but for what we were doing, it didn't matter because
Oh, yeah.
everybody was playing within the same era. So
Yeah.
it was
Right.
more a battle of teams. It wasn't a battle of who can like craft the best lineup. Right.
And yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just want one more question. So since we're sort of talking, because that's the engine that you chose. Looking back on this fantastic experience, are there things that you wish that Out of the Park would have included to make your task a little bit? Yeah. You mind listing a few? And Matt Arnold, if you're listening in later, and Will and all you guys, listen up, man.
Well, there's one feature I was asking for even before like this whole tournament thing, and a lot of people might not know about it in OTP. But when you're dealing with uniforms, right? You have the ability. I created all these XML files per franchise where it has every single uniform from every single year. That they uses the files that for the uniforms that they use for each year is broken down, right? So, but for some reason, when you load the XML file in the game, it uses the year that the season is in to load. So what we did was we used every 1980 as the base season for every bracket, because we just wanted to use that year as the base for the statistics and stuff, So basically so for every uniform, this is funny because I was going to get into this, but every uniform that we wanted to load, we couldn't just load unless it was the 1980 team. We couldn't use the XML file because it would load the 1980 uniform. So if the 1918, and Jamie will tell. I was just going to say, like, I can only blame myself for how long this went for the most part, because Jamie had to sit there and watch me load each team's uniforms home and away, all their caps, but one by one as part of the setup. And also, Jamie had to sit there, and I'm sure he was shaking his head. But he sat there and he had to watch. He watched me compare all the uniform numbers of the players against what was on Baseball Reference.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man,
there was one night was it Larry? And there was some pitcher we couldn't find this. We had what number he was because he got traded to a team, so he had a different number. So we were like on eBay trying to find like baseball cards of him from that, because he was like on a team that he only played like part of a season, and like we finally found the base, like, he's number 40 whatever.
It was like someone like Tim Stoddard or John Montefusco or something like that. Someone really not like nothing that's really going to make a difference, but knowing my craziness and I'm sitting like, oh, all right, what's this guy's number? Oh no, somebody already has that number. Like, we can't put it twice. And I could just picture Jamie just sitting there like, oh, all right, whatever. He's like probably looking at like watching kitty videos on YouTube while I'm doing this,
Now the uniforms I definitely appreciated because it did make a big difference playing the game.
But that's the extent that we went to. I mean, that's what I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do. If we're going to do this, is the only time I'm going to do this project in my life, probably. So I just wanted to do it the best that I could do it, like that I wanted to do. And that Jamie did his stuff with that he did.
And that's what we even said while you're doing it. It's like, you're never going to do this again. So,
I'm really happy that you bring that up, because guys out there in the community, anybody listening to this later on, I mean, everybody talks about the ballpark mod and it's freaking fantastic. But don't forget the uniform mod. That one seems to be get a little less, high praise, but it's amazing. And so, guys, don't sleep on that. If you have it on Steam, subscribe to the workshop. If you didn't buy it on Steam, just grab it from the Out of the Park boards, download it. It's easy to install. Just do it because it adds so much and just incredible work. And Jamie, you deserve a Purple Heart, brother.
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to get back to the question. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The whole thing with that XML file, what I would like and I was asking OOTP for this even before, if they just, when you went to load the file, if it just asked you what year you want to load, just a thing pop up, say enter the year, and then you say 1945, and then it would load the 1945. If it just did that, I guarantee you would have saved weeks off of the tournament. As far as us setting things up, if we just had to click the button to load each team, it would have been just so much easier. But that, and there's other things like, well, I think Bernie probably, and you guys probably can agree, right? I think the historical exhibition could use a big overhaul,
yes. Oh my God!
And I think, because I probably would have used that more for the preliminary rounds I would have been able to use it more if it was able to say save. I feel like it's just not fully fleshed out, and obviously this for some reason with version 27 the uniforms just didn't come out at all. I mean, they completely bunked that. They basically nerfed all the uniforms from 27. Unless they fixed it, I don't know, Bernie.
No,
I'm watching the broadcast.
They have not.
They have not. So. But I mean, that kind of thing too. So there's some things, actually, and I wrote, Jamie knows this. They asked me, OTP asked me for some stuff for suggestions for so I gave them this whole huge list of things that we learned from.
Yeah, say a lot of stuff for things that we talked about when we were playing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this will do some good with the game, as well. Just not only just for our project, but just. I'm hoping that will benefit the game, but based off of the extensive testing that we basically did for this game, what I mean? But I'm really glad that to showcase that, because I feel like OOTP doesn't get a whole lot of play. Bernie definitely plays it, but it doesn't get, and you play it, Beatles, but it doesn't really get a whole lot of play in our YouTube community anyway. So
no, and that is something that again is out of the scope of this. I'm going to take this over on Bernie's channel, but it does drive me to distraction. It's a hell of a baseball game, and it's just I get these guys that make these sort of spurious comments about it, and it's like, but it's the only baseball sim where again, I've talked about it, Mike and Jamie and Bernie, you guys know this, how many times there is a function when you're doing a season replay that you can click on, and it will show your season replay against the actual season.
Yeah, that tells you exactly the percentage of each stats and like how close they are to the real season or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy.
But the fact that when you guys were showing the results, and we got to do another one maybe when I feel like doing a longer, because Bernie limits us to an hour because he's he's very much an authoritarian in that way. But it'd be fun to do a kind of.
Are you kidding me? I'm old. I fall asleep.
Oh, please, dude. Bernie's like, I remember the first Model T. But anyhow,
Listen,
just to kind of.
I almost saw Babe Ruth play.
I know.
Oh my God, this guy! What am I going to do with this guy? But so yeah, it's like, are there kids listening? Is this kid safe? Because I just feel like I'm getting a Bronx Tale moment over here.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, yeah. So to like stat geek out a little about, right? Yeah, give the Mario test, right? What fucking Mario? What is up? Anyhow, so like. What impressed me though is, as you alluded to earlier, Mike, was how accurate it was playing even in cross era. Like when because that's, I mean, I just wish more people would just maybe guys just subscribe to the Bash channel itself and just check out. I mean, even if you're just a hardcore season replayer, but to appreciate what was done there. It was just incredible, and what you can do with Out of the Park baseball. And I think that Out of the Park's baseball's biggest enemy in this community, for those that hate it, is because it just looks really nice. And I think people just can't take it seriously, some of them. But Bernie, you've said, isn't it like by far the most played digital baseball sim Is that
Oh
correct?
yeah, worldwide it's 10 times bigger than Action PC.
Yeah.
But it's played all over the world. But
Yeah.
uh, we played a lot of Action PC in that Steve Tate league. OOTP
Action Piece
plays.
is cool. It's a cool game, man.
Yeah,
It is good.
but
I like it.
OOTP's cross error is much more accurate, in my
I think
opinion.
so too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyhow, Bernie, I've been
It's funny
taking
though.
up too much time though, brother. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's funny because, like we were saying before about how the communities can be foreign, and a lot of people that play out of the park, they're like, well, why would you replay a season? Like you already know. And then people on the other side are like, oh well, like that game can't. It's just all about management, But even though you can use out of the park to do all kinds of different things, and
Yeah.
but I think it's a lot of just people are not familiar on both sides. The
Well, we got a question here from a game developer. So Crash Davis, who's given us Stat Pro Baseball and Status Pro Baseball,
Yeah.
and was also part of the Pearson baseball team back in the day. He's asking you guys, this is after all that work and setting up, customizing all those teams, did you save everything as a template?
Yeah, I have every game. I have every save from every bracket on that. Maybe not as a template. I mean, I have every saved game from every bracket or everything we've done.
so you
So
could go back and
we could make a template out of it. I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, but I'll tell you what I do have is we actually wrote down. I have a text file that has step by step what we did between bracket. Once we finished a bracket, what we had to do to get all the stats and all the steps we had to follow, just so we could replicate it without missing something. So we don't. So I was very meticulous with trying to keep all the records, and I pretty much tried to save everything possible. I don't even know how big
including
yeah.
I guess you call it video. Every game that's played is saved and recorded. There's if we wanted to, there's a vault. You can go back and watch any game you ever wanted.
Yeah, we had, like,
highlights
we-
or
must
from start
must
to
have
finish.
used a lot of space.
I don't know.
Gentlemen, I have to step away for a
Oh,
moment.
sure.
Beatles, do me a favor, take over, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, Bernie.
So yeah, Beatles. How that has the game has the highlights and replay function.
I love that
So
feature.
we saved every highlight and every replay from every game. So,
wow.
So if we wanted to go, and we've used it a lot, we've gone back and we said, oh, let's get a screenshot of that longest home run hit by this guy in bracket 5, because we kept track of the longest home run distances and stuff. So we'd go back. Okay, bracket 5. Okay, let's see, when did they hit? Okay, we look in the game log and it says, okay, this is against the Giants against the Braves or whatever. Okay, yeah, look that up in the game. Sure, see the highlight. There it is. Bing, bang, boom. Get the. We use that to get the screenshots of the celebrations when the bracket championships and stuff like that. So it's cool, So I wanted to save everything possible,
It's just incredible, just absolutely incredible. So, I mean, do you? So I guess I know that you didn't set out to do this, like to try to change minds or get converts or anything like that. Certainly, but if you could, what kind of advice would you give to people if they wanted to try a project? I mean, certainly, I don't think any of us would attempt something like this. You guys have pretty much nailed it, Hall of Fame, the whole thing. But what kind of advice would you give to guys jumping into a larger sort of project like this? Just based on your own experiences, what to, just a little bit, if you could talk about that a little, because it's a masterpiece what you guys did. It really is.
It's hard for me. Sorry, Jamie. It's hard to give advice because I've met a bunch of people in this community, and I've listened to a bunch of people in the community, and I've watched a lot of people doing their projects, and I very rarely do I see anybody actually finishing their project. So
yeah, well, the fact that you guys finished it is
so what I'm saying is, I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I feel like we're like one of the few that would take something that. So I would just say, if you're going to start something like this, just be prepared. Obviously, you don't have to feel like you have to do it every day, because you could easily burn out. But I think for some reason I must be made of like something that's not burn proof, because I don't burn out that often. So
right.
I hate to knock on wood, because who knows, but yeah, I don't know, Jamie, what would you say? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like directly to bigger projects, since this is I mean, the only thing you could compare it to that size and the actual constructing of it was, on your end, but participating in it, and like I said before, like, just have an open mind and frame of reference, and don't get too nitpicky and stuff like that. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the project for what it is.
Yeah, and have a wife that goes to bed at 8:00, 8:30.
Yeah, that's it. It's funny, like the random things that actually played into it.
Like both of our wives go to bed at like eight early, like 8:30, 9:00 at night every night. So once that happens, it's like it's go time. You know what I mean?
Props to your wives, guys, because I'm telling you, man. They're keepers, guys. They're keepers. So
yeah, if they would have been at different hours, it may never have happened.
Yeah.
If they made me stay up and watch like Real Housewives, then this would never have gotten finished, So.
Well, I just got back and we're talking about Real Housewives.
Well, see, Bern, that's what happens if you let me just take over.
Yeah.
So
Hey, listen, Beatles, I think you're a crack up.
Well, I'm definitely. Well, we won't go there.
I love your questions.
So
I do have one question.
Okay.
More though. Since we're entitled this show, what Mike and Jamie learned. Mike, did you learn more about OOTP or did you learn more about baseball?
I learned about both. I mean, OTP. I mean, I loved it anyway. I mean, I've used it so much, but I never used it for that kind of a thing. But I did learn about a lot of the customization. There's some things you still have to try and see and see how and feel it out a little bit. Like as Beatles knows and anybody with OTP knows, there's a lot of settings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, things you just want to make sure things, but once you get things right, then it's just very easily repeatable. Because the thing was, every bracket we had to create a whole new game every time. We just had to make sure we did the same rules, same options, kept everything the same. Because you could easily forget to check a box here or check a box there. We didn't have injuries, and one time I think I left injuries on, and was it Babe Ruth got hurt?
That was the infamous injury. In the 27 Yankees, Babe Ruth got injured.
How did you handle that?
Well, he got injured one game. Well, we just played the game. Luckily, I say luckily because it didn't affect the outcome. Like the 27 Yankees still won the bracket, but it did affect. I think Babe Ruth could have easily hit a few more home runs and maybe broke the record even more. So.
He ended up. He did have the career match total, but he ended up having the tied season total. So I used to laugh like, well, if he hadn't gotten injured, maybe.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that sucks. I missed that one. Well, but I'm not I realize I'm definitely not perfect. But
it made it fun. It's something to talk about.
Oh,
Do you remember how many games Babe Ruth played in the tournament?
Total, like career-wise?
I mean, usually the guys like have that long career, they'll get to like a season's worth.
The second half of the question is how many games did he play and how many home runs did he hit?
Geez, you put me on the spot. I knew I should have had this thing open. 1 second. I can tell you in 1 second. Babe Ruth.
I'm going to say 40 to 49, somewhere around there.
I think he had 46 home runs. It says here 42, but that might not be counting. I know it's 42, I think. 42 career home runs and games. That's a little, let's see.
Is this including the final bracket?
I believe it is. It's the same as the Babe Ruth. Sorry. I'm just trying to find him. Of course he's not. Oh, there he is. Babe Ruth had 118 games started, 540 plate appearances. It's almost like a full season,
Right.
430 at bats, 138 hits, 43 home runs. Sorry, it says here 321 career average.
And that's everything's cross error for the most part. Those are pretty accurate stats, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you felt like you were when he was playing, you felt like Babe Ruth was up, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah, I guess I'm almost as impressed with OOTP as I am with your big, beautiful baseball bash that it was able to handle it.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's really is. It's just amazing. Like if you look at our leaderboards, which we're gonna have Jamie and I are gonna put together a final wrap up show at some point. We just haven't, we're just taking a break, but we'll be back on. We'll have we'll go through the stats and if we probably have to get everything ready for our Saber appearance too as well. But yeah, you'll see just how one surprise actually was there's only out of what 5,800 games or whatever that we played, we only had 2 no hitters. It's kind of crazy, huh? I
Yeah,
mean,
we had a lot of near misses, but yeah, I think I can't remember now the exact number, but I think the that many games by average we should have had more like 6 or 7. But
I have a theory about that. These stats that are used for the players are based on an annual basis. And pitchers that throw no hitters are having one hell of a hot day. That they're not having average days. And these players go out and they play to their season average every single game. And I think that causes the statistics on an annual basis to come out okay. But if you go to replay a famous game in history like a Roger Clemens 20 strikeout game, you could play that Seattle Red Sox game 100 times. He'll never strike out 20 batters.
yeah.
And I think that's what you're experiencing.
Well, yeah, I'm not
no hitters.
Yeah, we're not trying to specific game. I mean, I just thought, think of it this way, right? Think about all the teams, the powerhouse teams that probably played the lowest of the low. There's tons of instances that happen, and not one. Oh, some of the best pitchers in the league history facing some of the worst lineups, and there's only 2 no hitters out of the whole time. To me, it just seems like it's a little bit off, but that's it. It is what it is, right?
like I said, we did have a lot of near misses.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
We had I'm trying to remember the guy's name, the pitcher from the Cubs. He took a perfect game.
Oh, I was Lon Warnke.
Yeah, Lon Warnke. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy, the more kind of like Erie or whatever you want to say, one of the no hitters was Steve Carlton, which obviously that's not a
on the Cardinals. Yeah.
But Charlie Robinson, who was Beatles probably knows him. He's a dead ball early 20s guy. Had not a long career, but he threw a no hitter, threw a perfect game. He's one of the guys who threw a perfect game in baseball history. And he was the guy who threw the other no hitter.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. Like the odds that guy will end up throwing a no hitter, and it was crazy that he did in real life, and he does it in the bash.
What I love about this too is just like hearing you guys like talk about some of these players and community. You don't take this the wrong way, but I mean most people would have never heard of Lon Warnke. Now, I mean, for somebody like me who studies earlier baseball, I know about him, but I love hearing these names coming up that for I think a lot of guys that for whatever reason, it may be because they don't know the players, so they're like they don't want to sort of jump into it. It's just really, really cool to hear you guys talk about players that Lon Warnke probably how many, except for maybe the project Steve Tate has done, with the whole Shanks and everything like that. But in the larger to sports gaming community, maybe people have heard of Lon Warnke, unless they're Cubby fans or something like that.
2 years ago, I wouldn't have known who he was. I wouldn't have known Lon Warnke from Meineke Car Care.
See, and I think that's, and maybe
we
you
know
didn't.
Tom Grieve too, because he's broke up the perfect game.
Yeah,
and even though you guys didn't, you didn't intend to do it, I have to say, just because of what I like to do, you really paid such an homage to baseball. You really, really did, and it was exciting. Just kind of. On the limited times that I could see what was going on first when you were just doing it, just in the Discord and stuff like that. But it really, really was. And I mean, it's certainly your love of baseball just shows through, because I mean, to create something like this, right? I mean, you're not going to do this for curling, I don't think. Although now I've just given Bernie an idea, or Christopher Slovic, he might do something like this. Yeah,
There is
but
a curling game. I hope you realize that.
I think I do, Bernie, and I'm scared now that I've put that out in the universe.
Were
So-
there any Bill Mazeroski moments in this tournament?
There might have been like so many that it might even be hard to narrow it down. I mean, but like as far as like Bill Mazeroski like winning
Yeah, winning the series with a home run, walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth or something.
I don't think so. There was a Wally Moses was one of the guys from.
yeah, Wally Moses would probably be the one that
He had, yeah, I don't know if it was a walk. I can't remember if it was a walk off. I think it was a walk off.
yeah, and that was a kind of a crazy bracket because two like I think 1940 and 43 White Sox teams were the ones
We're in the final.
So
Yeah.
not only was it two teams that were really close together, and they were also like obviously surprise teams to make it.
So I had another question for you guys. So you've done this ginormous project. So what now? So after you guys do the wrap up and you do your thing with Saber, and I'm going to try to get you on too as well when you can. But what's next? I mean, so no, not so much what's next, but like what's it going to feel like to just go back to a kind of for you guys completely manageable now, a season replay or a little tournament. I mean, what do you do next after this?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing now. I went back to my 87, which I put on hiatus.
Okay.
So I'm actually I probably just blew through almost a month of well, not really. I was on vacation and I was like messing
Tell
around.
them how you restored it.
Well, no, I don't want to do that, but that's just more than Beatles is going to recommend me for it to be committed to a mental asylum.
Mike, the guys in the white coats are already on their way. So, yeah.
But basically, I was already in July in my 87 replay, and I was using Digital Diamond, and then I kind of decided I wanted to use manual entry from Action PC. So what did I do? I went and re-entered every game one by one that I had played.
Oh my God!
Into Action PC using manual entry.
Oh my God! Now see, so it's
I call it the replay of the replay.
Yeah,
it's the first one he's ever replayed his replay.
Well,
that's more probably historic than even.
But look at this way: I hadn't played my 87 replay in almost like 6 months or so. Sure. So I almost forgot almost all about it, what had happened. Like, well, so I looked at it as, hey, now I'm right back into it. I know everything that's happened, and I'm like, it's almost as if I just started, played it all the way through. So
oh my
God. I do want to give a shout out to Action PC because I think their manual entry is great. I mean,
it's
I've done
brilliant.
I don't want to say how many games I've put in there, but it's pretty much flawless since I've been using it.
I've got to, I mean, just if I could just add to that really quickly, Mike, I think, and I might get some blowback from Paul and the other folks and from Dana at Payoff Pitch, but I think Action PC has really nailed the manual input. They're just, this is their first year for it, and it's fantastic for that. It really is.
Yeah.
So please, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. But.
No, yeah. So I mean, I just want to say, and before we go, I just wanted to, I kind of want to, I just wanted to make sure we give I just want to ask Jamie, about his whole AI stuff. I don't want to take your guys' questions or anything, but I think
go ahead.
No, because I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, I think Jamie really deserves a lot of credit for this whole thing because he really brought. And I've said this from the beginning. He's been bringing that project to life, like with his posts. He was almost on the Bernie level of being consistent of posting stuff like on Facebook and across all the Facebook sites and on Discord. And
I love the Babe Ruth interviews.
Oh God! I mean, he does.
Those are all, they're great. Yes.
I mean, like Jamie's probably he's Jamie, you tell me, how has your proficiency in AI improved since this project?
I mean, yeah, obviously, I've learned a lot.
Yeah, the Bob Uecker Babe Ruth one is that's priceless, man.
But I was gonna say, I mean, it was. This project just, like I think and Mike was saying before, it just like opened up like the want to be creative about it. And then I just thought this thing was so, cool that Mike put this tournament together with every team in baseball history, at least since 1901. And
I mean,
I got to figure out a way to share this. I mean, obviously I know people's replays aren't always the most exciting thing, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna. So I was telling Mike, I said, I don't know if people will care about it or not, but I'm gonna put it out there like they should care about it, like do like it was almost like doing a PR campaign, like
yeah.
I
So that
think
was like the motivation, for doing it.
I think adding AI to these projects really makes them pop on Facebook and YouTube. It almost brings them to life. They're no
Oh
longer
yeah,
a game.
definitely.
They're no
Yeah.
longer a game. They seem real to you.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say even whether what you make with AI, if other people can't relate to it or whatever, but for you yourself, if
Oh,
you just played a game and then you can make it something that looks like a newspaper, a picture of it.
You know,
Yeah.
I spend, and this has nothing to do with the big beautiful baseball bash, so excuse me, but I spend probably twice as much time writing up the series as I do playing it. And of course, Jamie will tell you, AI isn't always cooperative.
For sure, yeah.
You have to fight with it sometimes for hours to get
Yeah.
it to do the right thing.
I was gonna say a lot of the pictures, especially if you're picky, because I'll, make a picture and I'm like, well, no, that's the wrong hat, so now I gotta tell it to and
Oh.
then it might take 3 more tries to get it. So like for every picture, it was probably 6, average, like say 6 or 7 attempts. Some might have been more, some might be less, but yeah, I mean, for every picture, it took time just to get it up there. And even still, it's never perfect, but just to get it even close to good, it takes a long time.
But
Well,
I mean, just the world that Jamie created, to complement our tournament, our project. It just basically, it was almost like, I don't even know how to explain it, except that I felt like when we were doing it and when Jamie was posting, I'm watching Mel Allen with the This Week in Baseball music in the background,
Yes.
talking about the matchups or talking about the award winners or the series or the Baltimore 2000 Orioles. I just felt like I was like, if you, I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I would imagine like if you're really into that and somebody's really good at, and you feel like you're actually there in the world. I felt like our tournament was real, like in that, like, watching these and people, and I really felt like other people were talking about them, and like, and I'm like, wow, I'm like really watching the TV like when I was a kid, like watching Mel Allen. I'm like, wow, he's talking about like me and this.
Well, that was kind of like what I was saying, like
It
as
was
far
so
as
cool.
making the whole thing kind of work in your head. It was
Yeah.
easier for me to imagine it all as this giant universe where all these teams actually are in this, like, somehow if they could all be in this actual tournament together. And so that's everything I was making was imagining it through that. So, and that's how Mike and I, like you said, that's how we would talk about it. Like when we were on Discord playing, like, when Ted Williams was going to break the hit record, like, because we already knew the record. So then all of a sudden we're like, each game, oh, you got 2 more hits,
Yeah, it was just great. Everything was like, oh, this would be a great story. Like that 22-18 game between the Phillies and the Senators, right?
Yeah.
It was just like crazy, like oh, this is, and then we end up, Jamie made this whole write up for that, and it was just cool stuff, just.
But yeah, even if we didn't do the write up, just the we remembered it like it was part of like the history of baseball. Like
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, like it was.
It's like we're talking about it now, like, oh, like it actually happened, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, in a way, it did actually happen. It wasn't the real thing, but it actually happened, and it happened in front of your eyes. Did you come up with the MVP of the tournament or a pitcher of the tournament or any things like that?
We did have did we do the awards, Jamie?
I don't think we've ever done one like
a final one yet. I think we were planning on getting that done.
Yeah, in the tournaments we just went with the whoever was named the MVP of the final bracket. They were the championship series MVP, but we never said this guy, officially was the MVP. We might talk about it. This guy had the best bracket.
Off the top of your heads, both of you, and they can be different players. Best position player, best pitcher.
Ooh.
I'd say Lefty Gomez was up there. Position players Babe Ruth. Pete Rose was up there with numbers, but he was a number. He played so long, so he just was able to compile the numbers, the totals. Let me just take a quick gander. Sorry, I know that you guys are cutting up to a. I just wanted to see. Trying to remember what I was trying to look for. I don't even remember. Yeah, I should have been more prepared here with this one. I apologize.
No. Actually, I'm almost more interested in your recollection than the
I
actual
was gonna say, like,
number.
I mean, Babe Ruth would be for sure if you said the complete, but he didn't get as much time because his teams didn't do as well, and I think even some of his good teams just didn't um, have the luck to keep going. But when he was playing, I think Jimmy Fox was the most, like, in the context of the bash, he was the most dominant hitter there.
Honus Wagner, one of those two.
Oh yeah, actually, it might be neck and neck complete between Honus Wagner. It seemed like Honus Wagner was just like
That's
took
my
over
man there.
He's
That's my man.
he just took
just-
over games constantly.
Just consider, just like
Hannes is the OG, man.
yeah, those guys. Eddie Collins was good,
Yeah.
and all those guys.
Bob Gibson pitching wise.
Bob Gibson was nasty.
Yeah.
And Mariano Rivera was pretty good. I mean, he has a few rough spots, but some teams were rough on him. But no, it just I remember Lefty Gomez doing really well.
Yeah, he was pretty consistent. I mean, some of the most memorable guys weren't necessarily they had the best, but like Earl Wilson is probably one of the guys we'll remember more than anybody.
Earl Wilson, somebody I know well from
it's right in your
as
era.
a kid. A Red Sox pitcher who pitched a no-hitter when I was 11, and I had to go to bed before it was over.
Oh, that's not.
And that guy
explains a lot, though, Bernie.
Yeah,
just saying.
And Fred Luteris, that was another one that kind of became one of our favorites too.
Oh, fine player from the Phillies. Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for coming on and talking about it. It's been fun. We've got a couple of minutes left, Beatles, if there's anything you want to add to the end of the show.
I just want to say to both of you guys, thank you for such an amazing thing. And that's, I'm glad that you decided to put, to get some of it up on YouTube where people can look at it, and it's just incredible. And thank you for such a great homage to baseball and for just showing what two supremely diseased minds can do when joining forces. You guys truly, it was brilliant. I mean, I'm just being weird, but it was brilliant. And I would just say I'm hopefully speaking on behalf of the community. Thank you for something truly amazing and magical. It really was.
Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation. That's great.
Well, I think of all the projects, this has gotten more publicity than any project anybody's ever done.
So Unifix wants to know if you're creating a PDF of this project.
Yeah, we do have a plan to make like our own kind of the official. Well, Mike already has basically what we call the Bash Bible, but we're going to try to make it into a final presentation of some type.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of have things I try to be organized, but things just tend to they kind of go all over the place. I have kind of different documents in different places. I'd like to get all the stats and all that stuff together and just put it all in a nice, neat package. So
it was funny because
it's going to take some time though.
Derek Bain, the Saber Games community guy.
Derek is awesome.
He asked if do we have some standings that we could post, and I'm like, well, it's kind of tough because there was like 2,600. We don't exactly have just standing or whatever, but. Yeah, they'll definitely put something together. So you can,
I mean, I can give them the all-time. I did keep the all-time franchise standings.
Franchise standings we do have. That's true.
So, just real quick before we sign off, the Yankees, as I mentioned, had 743 games played, 421 wins, 322 losses. They had easily the best winning percentage. I think the next highest games played, just because they were so good and they went deep in a lot of their, in their brackets. Let me I think the next best team had 611 games, 620 games.
Wow.
That was the Giants. So 704, so 120 games more than the next best team.
Damn.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
The one surprise, the Padres had the third best winning percentage. A lot less games. They had 256 games, but they had a 527 winning percentage. And they won
just
one bracket.
consistently. You had teams that just overperformed.
Yeah, I mean the
lot of
lowly Mariners were horrendous. They only played 134 games and only had 50 wins.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
They were horrendous. Yeah, and the Brewers weren't much better.
Well, no, that makes me happy because I
Yeah.
don't like the Brewers. So
So we
Mariners,
can
the
go, you know,
Brewers,
we'll have a full rundown at some point of all the stats and all the stories. Oh no, not all the stories because you can't really tell them all in one broadcast. But but thank you so
Well,
much, guys. Thanks a
hey,
lot.
it was
for
fun.
having us on.
yeah, thanks for having us. It's always fun to talk to them.
Thank you, Beatles. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you,
yeah,
Mike.
Bernie,
All right, guys. Nice to talk. We'll talk again soon, as usual. You know,
you bet.
catch you on the other side.
Absolutely. And that's it. Thanks,
All right,
everybody,
thank
for
you.
listening. And thanks to everybody who's going to listen later. Take it easy, everyone.